I need you to pause for a second and really take this in, because what is happening at Manchester United right now genuinely defies everything we thought we knew about modern football. A club that spent absolutely nothing in the January transfer window. Not a penny. No late scramble, no panic loans, no flashy deadline day reveal. And yet within days of that window slamming shut, the same squad goes out and beats Manchester City and Arsenal back-to-back. The champions at home. The league leaders away. 2 wins against the top 2 teams in the Premier League delivered calmly, confidently, and with a level of control that we honestly haven't seen at Old Trafford for a long time. This isn't chaos. This isn't T-luck. This is a statement. And once you understand the thinking behind it, the entire season suddenly looks very different. Because while rival fans laughed and pundits questioned United, ambition, something much deeper, was happening behind the scenes. Manchester United did ignore the January window because they were asleep. They ignored it because they made a calculated decision that tells us exactly where this club is heading next. And the most uncomfortable truth for the rest of the league is that, right now, it's working. To understand why, you have to go back to the moment everything changed. Early January. The atmosphere around Old Trafford was toxic. Performances were flat, results were inconsistent, and Ruben Amorim looked like a man drowning under the weight of the job. That infamous press conference after the draw with Leeds was the breaking point. Publicly questioning his own position, openly clashing with sporting director Jason Wilcox, and essentially daring the club to act. And they did. Swiftly, ruthlessly. Amorim was gone. His win rate, just over 28%, was the worst of any Manchester United manager in the Premier League era. Worse than managers who lasted months. Worse than interim disasters. It was unsustainable, and the hierarchy knew it. The immediate goal was glamour. It was stability. Darren Fletcher stepped in briefly, did his job, and steadied the ship. But the club needed more than a caretaker. They needed someone who understood Manchester United at a level deeper than tactics and formations. Someone who knew the standards, the pressure, the culture. Someone who players would listen to the moment he walked into the room. That's why, when Michael Carrick returned, it did feel like nostalgia. It felt like inevitability. Carrick did come in promising revolution. He did demand signings. He did complain about the squad. In fact, one of the first things he made clear was that he would work with what he had. No excuses, no panic buys, no short-term fixes that mortgage the future. And that single decision shaped everything that followed. January is the most dangerous window in football. Everyone knows it. Selling clubs inflate prices, desperate buyers make bad decisions, and players signed in January often arrive undercooked, overpaid, and out of sync. Carrick and Wilcox were completely aligned on this. If there was no player available who genuinely improved the squad without compromising long-term plans, then the smartest move was to do nothing. And that required courage, because doing nothing at Manchester United is often louder than spending millions. Then came the football. And this is where the narrative completely flips. The Manchester Derby at Old Trafford was just a win. It was a performance. United were compact, disciplined, intelligent. The distances between the lines were right. The press was coordinated. City were frustrated, rushed, and surprisingly uncomfortable. Carrick set the team up to take away City as control, and it worked. A 2-0 victory that felt deserved from the first whistle to the last. No chaos, no smash and grab, just control. 8 days later, Arsenal away. A fixture that has haunted United for years. A stadium where wins simply didn't happen. But again, the same themes emerged. Belief, structure, clarity. United weren't intimidated. They did retreat. They picked their moments, trusted the system, and punished Arsenal when it mattered. 3 goals. Another famous win. 2 matches. 2 victories against the best teams in the country. That does happen by accident. This is the moment where the January transfer strategy suddenly makes sense. Why spend 50 or 60 million on a player when the squad you already have is capable of producing performances like that under the right guidance? Carrick has unlocked players who looked lost just weeks earlier. He simplified roles, demanded accountability, and gave the group something they'd been missing for a long time: belief. Of course, there are legitimate concerns. United sits 7th. They were out of the cups. They are well behind the leaders. On paper, this still looks like a season that needed reinforcements. But context matters. Carrick is an interim head coach with time to stabilize, not overhaul. The club is planning for the summer, when a permanent manager will come in with a clear vision and real influence over recruitment. January was never about rebuilding. It was about survival, momentum, and clarity. Behind the scenes, the alignment between Carrick, Jason Wilcox, and the executive team is striking. This isn't a power struggle. This is cooperation. Carrick was chosen because he understands the club and because he isn't too overawed by it. He knows when to demand more and when to protect his players. His coaching staff reflects that balance. Steve Holland brings elite-level tournament experience and an uncompromising edge. Jonathan Woodgate adds familiarity and trust. Johnny Evans provides authority and leadership. It's a group built to maximize what already exists. That approach extended to the transfer window itself. No incoming signings. Only youth loans designed to support development. No headlines. No drama. But that didn't stop the rumor mill from spinning wildly. Cole Palmer to United, never realistic. Shut down quickly. Midfield links, mostly noise. Antoine Semenyo choosing City instead told its own story. United weren't prepared to be dragged into bidding wars they did. Believe in. The biggest question mark remains Bruno Fernandes, the captain, the heartbeat. Interest from Saudi Arabia hasn't gone away, and conversations about his future are inevitable. But the club's stance is clear. They want him to stay. Not just for his numbers, but for his leadership during another transition. Losing him would leave a void that can't be easily filled. And Carrick understands that better than anyone. There were also decisions to be made about players on the fringes. Harry Maguire, linked with Italy, stayed. Carrick rates him, publicly backed him, and that matters. Young talents like Kabi Manu were kept close rather than loaned out. Joshua Zirkzee chose to fight for his place. Manuel Ugarte was given another chance. These aren't accidents. They were signals. Carrick is telling players that performances matter more than reputations, but that everyone will get a fair shot. Zooming out, the league table tells a fascinating story. United are just 3 points off fourth with 17 games to play. No Europe. No cups. One competition. One focus. That can be a weapon. With momentum, belief, and consistency, Champions League qualification is not a fantasy. It's a target. And what is perhaps most encouraging is the cultural reset happening quietly under Carrick. Standards are back. Accountability is back. Big names get free passes. Carrick has shown before that he will bench anyone if it serves the team. Players respect that. They respond to it because it comes from someone who has lived the pressure, lifted the trophies, and understands exactly what this badge demands. This January window may end up being remembered not for what United did, but for what they did. They resisted the urge to panic. They trusted their structure. They backed their coach. And in doing so, they may have laid the foundations for something far more sustainable than another short-term fix. There's still a long way to go. Consistency will define everything. The next 17 matches will tell us whether this is a bounce or a blueprint. But for the first time in a long time, Manchester United look like a club with a plan, not just a reaction. So now the question shifts from transfers to belief. Can this group maintain these standards? Can Carrick keep extracting more from players who were written off? Can United turn momentum into qualification and belief into identity? Because if they can, then doing nothing in January won't look like a gamble at all. It will look like the moment Manchester United finally chose patience over panic, clarity over chaos, and direction over noise. And that might just be the most important decision they made all season.